team's findings on Dominica, a nation with potential held back by systemic challenges. The Caribbean Samples team spent 3 months on the ground in Dominica, immersing ourselves in the daily life, economy, and culture of this beautiful island. What we found was a country rich in natural resources and vibrant spirit, yet facing serious challenges that are holding back its development. Through community conversations, business observations, and grassroots engagement, we identified a number of critical issues, from over-involvement in politics and religion, to unnecessary dependence on imported goods like bottled water, to a severe lack of industrial development and employment opportunities. Dominica has all the ingredients for success, but without a shift in focus toward unity, production, and sustainable growth, this potential remains largely untapped. The real problem with Dominica. Time to focus on progress, not politics and religion. Dominica is a country full of potential, lush with natural resources, breathtaking landscapes, an abundance of fresh water, and a resilient population. Yet despite all these blessings, development seems to be stagnant and progress is painfully slow. The truth is, Dominica is not lacking in resources. It's lacking in unity, direction, and visionary leadership. The real problem with Dominica is not the land, not the opportunities, but the mindset. Too many Dominicans are overly consumed with politics and religion, while the real issues, such as economic growth, industrial development, job creation, and self-sufficiency, are being neglected. Shash, over-involvement in politics and religion. Dominicans are passionate people, but sometimes that passion is misdirected. Political allegiance in Dominica often looks like a football match, red versus blue, rather than a collective effort to build the nation. People are so deeply entrenched in political parties that they sometimes lose sight of the bigger picture, national development. Instead of holding leaders accountable and demanding better policies and performance, many blindly support whichever party they belong to. This has created a culture of division, blame, and inaction. Religion, too, plays a major role in Dominican society. While faith and spirituality are important to many, religion in Dominica often distracts from real-world issues. Some people are so wrapped up in church life and religious beliefs that they withdraw from civic duty, economic engagement, and critical thinking. When you have a society that's overly focused on praying for solutions rather than working to build them, development suffers. Dominica doesn't need more political debates or more religious denominations. It needs solutions. It needs teamwork. It needs people who are committed to developing the island, not just preaching from the pulpit or ranting at a political rally. Importing what we already have. A national disgrace. Dominica is rich in natural resources. The island is blessed with more fresh water per capita than many countries in the world. Yet, ironically, we are importing bottled water. How does this make any sense? How can an island with rivers, springs, and rainfall in abundance be buying water from overseas? This is not just ridiculous, it's shameful. And water isn't the only thing. We import fruits, vegetables, juices, and even meat, all of which we can grow or produce locally. This dependence on foreign goods drains our economy, increases the cost of living, and weakens local industries. What's worse, it stifles our potential for self-sufficiency and growth. Why is Dominica not manufacturing and exporting its own bottled water on a global scale? Why are we not processing and packaging local produce into market-ready products? The simple answer: lack of vision, lack of investment, and too much political talk with very little productive action. The missing ingredient: development teams. There should be a dedicated group of individuals, independent of political or religious influence, solely focused on the development of Dominica. A national development council made up of professionals in agriculture, business, engineering, education, and technology, whose only job is to bring progress to the island. Such a team could create long-term plans for infrastructure, industry, exports, and employment. Their goal wouldn't be to win votes or convert followers, but to improve the country's GDP, lower the unemployment rate, and raise the standard of living for every Dominican. There are many people in Dominica who are not involved in politics or religion. They want to work, raise their families, contribute to society, and live peacefully. But they often feel left behind, unheard, or discouraged by a system that rewards political loyalty over merit and performance. A neutral, development-focused movement could unite these citizens and harness their talents for national growth. Too much fighting among politicians. Dominican politics is plagued by infighting, finger pointing, and personal attacks. Politicians spend more time bashing each other than working together for the good of the nation. Opposition parties don't just oppose policies, they oppose everything, sometimes even progress. Government officials, in turn, often ignore or dismiss any criticism as political noise. This toxic environment benefits no one. While politicians argue, roads crumble, businesses close, youth migrate, and families struggle to survive. Development stalls because energy is being spent on political games instead of practical solutions. It's time to demand better. It's time to move beyond political bickering and focus on measurable progress. Dominicans must stop putting politicians on pedestals and start holding them accountable for real results. Factories and employment. The urgent need. Dominica urgently needs factories. Not just talk of factories, but actual functioning industrial sites that create jobs. Whether it's food processing, furniture production, packaging, or clothing, manufacturing is essential to economic stability. It provides jobs, stimulates local supply chains, and reduces our dependence on imported goods. Right now, too many Dominicans are unemployed or underemployed. The young people, especially, are either idle, frustrated, or leaving the country in search of better opportunities. This brain drain is hurting our future. But without industries and infrastructure, there are limited avenues for success on the island. If Dominica had even a few well-run factories, hundreds, maybe thousands of people could be employed. Local farmers would have steady buyers for their produce. Transport workers would have goods to move. Shops would have local products to sell. The entire economy would benefit. Dominica has it all, but it's not being used. The most heartbreaking truth is that Dominica has everything it needs to succeed: natural resources, intelligent people, beautiful landscapes, and a strategic location. Yet it's still struggling. Why? Because the systems in place are not designed for growth. They are designed for control. Instead of empowering citizens to thrive, the current system keeps people dependent, distracted, and divided. Until we shift our national priorities from political loyalty to economic productivity, from religious distractions to community empowerment, Dominica will continue to lag behind. A call to action. It's time for a new vision, one that focuses on real development, practical solutions, and the betterment of all Dominicans. We need factories and manufacturing plants, a national development team, better use of our natural resources, support for local businesses and entrepreneurs, less political division and more national unity, modern infrastructure, and smarter investment, youth programs focused on skills and innovation. Dominica doesn't need to be saved, it needs to be led. And that leadership must come from people who care more about progress than politics, more about jobs than votes, and more about solutions than sermons.
Nature Island, rise and stand tall. Dominica, you have it all. Water flowing pure from the mountainside. Healing springs, no chemicals to hide. Roots of every color in the trees. Nature.
A real reflection of Dominica. The real problem with Dominica, too much politics. Too much partisan politics. It's time we come together. You agree or you disagree? We have everything it takes. So why are we so divided? Let's see if we can get a few calls on this one. Turn your resources into a dream. Why are we so divided?
Dominica to take control.
Dominicans, let's take control.
You have it all.
You have it all, huh? Hello, talk to me on the telephone. Yes. Real problem there. Yes,
You may not believe me. I've been saying that to myself all the time. God gave us a blessed country, fertile soil, everything, green country, nothing. There's nothing that cannot be done in this country. But we have bad manager at the top to kill the country. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Hello on the telephone. Yes,
Hey, Matt, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you. What a documentary there.
Right, just going to tell you, not only just a documentary, it puts in perspective our problems and even the solutions, I am calling because the person, the narrator behind that, at the end of it, it's saying that Dominica is leadership, and then what Dominica is that only have what they have is control. Now, I always tell you about the demonic narcissist. If people understand what narcissism is all about, it's all about control. It doesn't see, you see all these natural resources and all this thing we have, there is nothing about that. A narcissist has no empathy, has no love, it doesn't have nothing to do with the people. All it has to do with itself. A grandiose narcissist will only see themselves as the winner. They do no wrong. They're not entitled to nothing. No accountability. That's what we're seeing happening in Dominica. Matt, I'm talking to you.
Yes.
Right. No accountability. You ever hear, I am sorry for what I do? You ever hear anything about the monies that are missing and look where they are? We were embarrassed Lennox Clinton when we tabulate everything together. Lennox Clinton was ever embarrassed. My brother, we have a demonic narcissist at the helm of the country. And if people understand what we're dealing with there, we cannot get nowhere with that. We cannot get anywhere. If the narcissists love garbage, they love chaos. They don't know nothing about love and togetherness and the people. It's about themselves. But I'll just say that for now because that piece you play there is a brilliant piece. It just encaptures what is happening to us and the problems and even the solutions right there. Have a good day, my brother.
Have a good day. More telephone calls. Hello, talk to me. Yes.
Yeah, good afternoon, Matt. Matt, we have to be careful with that word unity. And you use the word too much partisanship. I don't believe these are correct. You have to be careful when you hear unity because these same politicians who are there might decide that unity means they and their party alone. And unless you don't join their party, then you're not part of the unity. You see, that's misrepresentation of unity. Misrepresentation of partisanship politics is that we should only have one party, which is a communist party.
Well, let me ask you a question there along those lines. Do you think, I'm just asking a genuine question and people will have different opinions about it. Do you think a change of, say, political parties will make the difference that we're looking for?
No, we need more than a change of political party. We need a change of politicians right across the board, not just in one party. And we need educated voters who are not too dedicated to a party as if they were born in it and would die in it. They should vote for a party based on the merit of the party, that the party's performance for the country, not based on my mother was born in it and I'm going to be in it. That kind of attitude. That has to go.
I see a lot of that attitude. People who have left the UK said, well, I was always a member of the Labour Party in the UK, so I'm not going to change. I see a lot of that happening.
Yeah, and Mark, we must have less lies from the politicians. Politicians must be truthful and the people must gain some kind of trust. These guys are just lying. And not only the lying, but the unaccountability, as Mervyn said. If we don't know what you're doing, you're probably stealing from us. See? If we know what you're doing and you've accounted to us, we can know when you start to steal. But if you don't ever account to us, we will never know how much you have stolen. Enough said, man.
Enough said. Let's listen to a bit of that again.
Systemic challenges.
From the top.
The Caribbean Samples team's findings on Dominica, a nation full of potential held back by systemic challenges. The Caribbean Samples team spent 3 months on the ground in Dominica, immersing ourselves in the daily life, economy, and culture of this beautiful island. What we found was a country rich in natural resources and vibrant spirit, yet facing serious challenges that are holding back its development. Through community conversations, business observations, and grassroots engagement, we identified a number of critical issues, from over-involvement in politics and religion to unnecessary dependence on imported goods like bottled water, to a severe lack of industrial development and employment opportunities. Dominica has all the ingredients for success, but without a shift in focus toward unity, production, and sustainable growth, this potential remains largely untapped. The real problem with Dominica: time to focus on progress, not politics and religion. Dominica is a country full of potential, lush with natural resources, breathtaking landscapes, an abundance of fresh water, and a resilient population. Yet despite all these blessings, development seems to be stagnant and progress is painfully slow. The truth is, Dominica is not lacking in resources. It's lacking in unity, direction, and visionary leadership.
All right, let's go back to the telephone 449. We'll continue playing about some of these messages there from this narrative. Are you there, caller? Are you there? Yes? Sorry about that. 449-309. I'm getting a lot of messages there. Let's see. Yes. Let's see what Peter has to say.
Yes, he was given communications officer to
Oh, you're talking about Mr. Kalal John Baptist. He did confirm, yes, he has taken up a job with the government as a communications officer of the ODM. Yes, that I can confirm to you. I think the Minister of Security, Mr. Raymond Blackmore, did indicate that you know that was the case. So yes, he has taken up the job from July 1st, 2025. Yes, hello. That is confirmation. Yes, good. Yes, sir.
Good afternoon.
How are you, my friend? How are you?
I am doing very well.
Dr. Randy, how are you doing?
That's me, all right. Sorry much. But I listened to this. Somebody sent me this thing sometime yesterday, I think it was. And I have not responded about it, and I'm going to share this with you. I think sometimes you have to be careful how we listen to what people say. You have to kind of listen underneath to find out what is the direction, what is the motive where the person is going. For example, to say that Dominic have too much politics, and then to conclude by saying what we need in terms of economic growth and all of that is kind of a misnomer. The leadership of the country is political. You must have politics. What Dominica have too much of is blind partisanship, not politics. We need good leaders in politics to change the trajectory, visionary leaders who can begin to work for the people and not for themselves, right? Here's the second thing. You can tell that whoever wrote that have a challenge with religion. Matt, do you think that there is a division in religion in Dominica?
To a certain extent, I don't think it's a big problem. I think so certain segments of religion may have some problems.
I don't think they are problems. I think they are different, and they will be.
Mm-hmm.
They of necessity will be, just like you and I. We are not the same.
You're saying some of them are selective in what they preach?
I am saying that religious denominations will always be different.
Okay.
And it is different in every part of the world. So to say that, to put so much of religion in it, that has nothing to do, mind you, with the economic growth and so on you're talking about, is not true. I don't see. I mean,
would you agree to a certain extent, Pastor, that some religions in Dominica have been sold to the highest bidder?
No, you're talking about something different. You're talking about individuals being sold to the highest bidder. But not even in the congregations that they come from, everybody sold. What I'm saying is Roman Catholics and Baptists and Pentecostals are not fighting each other. They are disagreeing on doctrinal matters, on church policies and so on. But there's no, we're not in any one of these countries where you have Muslims fighting Christians. So there's not that division in Dominica at all. That's a misnomer. There's always going to be differences in people's beliefs. And that happens all over the world. Even in the most progressive areas where there is visionary leadership,
there'll always be difference in religion. Here's another misnomer. And watch when people tell you that what we need is unity, we need to go away from this and away from that. That's impossible. That doesn't happen anywhere. That's unrealistic. We all will always be different. Even within families, you have differences. What we need is a mind to build a country with visionary, strategic leadership that is willing to do what must be done to build the country. That's what we require.
And you don't think this is happening as we speak?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. We do not have visionary leadership. We do not have people who are thinking of the people first. We have people in office who are thinking of themselves first. And themselves, in fact, at all costs. And when we change this, it is not the Labour Party as a name or the United Workers Party as a name or the whatever party as a name we have to change, We have to change the people occupying these offices because these are the people who are working for their pockets only. And they have their cronies around them who they have to keep their support and allegiance to do that. That is the issue of the country. That is the real issue, right? It is not religion by itself, or it's not even, and it's not politics. It is partisanship and the administration of politics so that the country has a new face. So I think that some subliminal messages in this that I don't particularly like. I don't like it because the research will show, history will show that religion has had its problems for slavery and stuff like that. But religion causes stability in individuals. And we can't get away from that. And I'm not talking about my church or evangelicals. I'm talking about religion. Religion have the potential of causing stability. The problem with a lot of people with religion now, Matt, is that religion stands for what God stands for in practice. So religious people don't go for homosexuals and stuff like that. Okay? And the people you hear bashing religion and saying the countries are moving forward because of religion, generally, they come from that ilk, right? Because religion is not affecting economy. Religion is affecting jobs, Matt. Am I not right? Religion only affects your belief and your lifestyle. And so we need to look at that from that perspective rather than bite hook, line, and sinker, because we might be swallowing a poison chalice if we swallow that hook, line, and sinker. That's my view.
All right, Pastor, thank you very much. Of course, we respect your views. The person who came up with this documentary is conflicted, speaking from both sides of the town. The real problem is governance and leadership. Governance have merged party and state, and everything flows through the red vein. Political loyalties is derivative of progress, but this culture was created intentionally to maintain division. The people should just educate themselves on what's going on and unite in the interests of the country. I heard 5 things in this documentary: systemic challenges, politics and steroids, stagnant development, slow progress, lack of direction, all of which can only be resolved with good policies. And who makes the policies? This writer writes. More telephone, hello, talk to me. Yes?
Hello, good afternoon, Matt.
Good afternoon to you, my brother. How you doing?
Matt, I'm doing good. Matt, I'm doing good. I want to welcome you back to the hot seat, Matt.
All right.
I also want to take this opportunity to extend condolences to Alex Bruno and family following the loss of his son yesterday, Matt. Matt, I believe I want to support the doctor in the fact that politics and religion have very little to do with the failures in this country. I don't find there is any infighting. Matt, the problem with Dominica today is a lack of visionary leadership. What I mean by visionary leadership that do not want the average man to be independent to make money, Matt. Mr. Skerritt has failed, having been in government, leading government for over 20 years. He has failed, Matt. Matt, as I speak to you, when I talk about lack of leadership, as I speak to you now, there are 6 schools that are being rebuilt in Dominica today, every one of them is being done by a Chinese company. And you know where they're getting the material? All of the material is taken from the airport project stockpile at Wesley Mat. So something is wrong somewhere. The middle class, the construction sector, where the middle class expect to grow, they're supposed to get subcontracts or full contracts in building those schools, because Dominican built those schools 30, 40, 50 years ago. Today, Chinese are building it. Clearly, it's a lack of visionary leadership. When you tell me last year, the government working in collaboration with the World Bank gave farmers banana and plantain seedlings to plant, gave farmers fertilizer to take care of those seedlings. Today, plantain and bananas are ripening on the farms. It's a lack of leadership. The farmers want market. The market is out there, but the government failed to connect the farmers with the market. So clearly, the economic hole Dominica is in today is thanks to Roosevelt's spirit and his lack of leadership, Matt. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, 449-3095. A lot of people are saying I agree with this documentary 100%. Let's hear some voices there on that. Let's go.
Not I for that 100%.
Somebody says, man, I agree 100%. The system is building to control and not to govern. Different views. Matt, the messenger is so right. Somebody sent me another voice note and is asking me to play this and ask for questions, opinions on comparisons. What is this one saying?
You went viral for laying out 10 steps to autocracy. Run us through those steps so we all know.
Okay, so this happens in every nation that has become an autocracy, having been a democracy. So whether we're talking about Brazil with Bolsonaro, or India, or Putin and Russia, the Philippines with Duterte. So start with winning an election.
Mm-hmm.
Usually the last one you're going to get to have for real. Number two, you have an expansion of executive power. The president decides he wants more than he's supposed to have. Number three, you start to make the Congress complicit. So you weaken them and you neutralize or neuter the judiciary. Like, the Supreme Court is giving you unfettered power and saying we don't have the ability to stop things. Then you move on to firing all of the people who know how to make government work. Mm-hmm. So you gut the civil service. And you do that because you want to break democracy so people forget the stuff that used to get done. So you can't get your Social Security check. So the CDC doesn't know what diseases are anymore. Mm-hmm. Then you put in place these loyalists, people who are only responsive to you. You put them in charge of the FBI so they go after your enemies. You put them in charge of the Department of Justice, the Department of Defense, so they can signal to their friends and tell them all about the evil plans that you have. Then you make certain that you break how we communicate. So you criticize the media and you create your own echo chamber of propaganda. You call it truth, even though you know you're lying. Then you go to the next step, and I call that step 7. So at step 7, you have to blame someone. You have to blame people for the broken government, for the broken promises. So you go after DEI. You go after the vulnerable, the dispossessed. You go after any community that doesn't look like what you think power should be. While you're doing that, you make certain that in step 8, you eliminate anybody who could help them. So you sue law firms that do pro bono cases. You go after philanthropies and accuse them of giving money to the wrong people. You go after colleges and universities that can teach people possibly what else they should know. You get to step 9 and you start to encourage and incentivize private violence. You send the U.S. Marines into spaces they should not be. You send the National Guard in. You kidnap people off of the streets and pretend that's normal, because that's how you quiet dissent, because you make everyone afraid that if they don't do what you want, they might be next. And once you've done those 9 steps, steps 10 is easy. That's when you decide there won't be new elections, because everyone's either afraid, poor, broken, or complicit.
Okay. Wow. Well,
You make everyone afraid. On the telephone, hello, talk to me, yes?
Yeah, Matt, in regard to politics and religion, the problem with the religion, is how it influences the voters to vote in those particular religions. And just to give you a vague example, my prime minister is a Catholic, so I vote. So I vote in for him because I'm a Catholic. That is where religion has a problem, Matt. Over influence on the people. Remember that our prime minister gave $500,000 to the Catholic Church, while the Anglican Church got nothing, and to this day has not been rebuilt since Maria. So, that's how it works. These things should not be happening. And finally, Matt, we do not have an opposition leader, man. What is the excuse for not having an opposition leader except to say that Roosevelt's carrot is inching towards dictatorship? If Roosevelt's carrot was not inching through dictatorship, there would have been an opposition leader. And it also shows that he has control over the president, because the president should have put a spoke in his wheel and install an opposition leader, regardless of all these stories that they've given us. Remember, Mia Mottley in Barbados won all the seats, yet there was an opposition leader installed. Today, he has pushed us back with our...
Are you suggesting that the opposition leader's position is overdue at this time?
Matt, the position of opposition leader is constitutional. There shall be. So that means they're not following the Constitution. And the Constitution is what we agree on. It's a set of agreements that we can go together with. They've broken the Constitution. And that's something big that people should react to. But we're not reacting to it, man. We should be demonstrating to put an opposition leader ASAP. Nobody thinks it's important. I've said it over and over. Nobody thinks it's important.
You've been saying this, and I think it's maybe falling on deaf ears, huh?
Well, whatever it is, that's a flaw, because it means that the people are not engaged in their democracy. So they will have something else called dictatorship. They lose all their rights. Enough said.
All right, good. Good afternoon again. At the 2:00 hour, we have the Social Security. Talk to me, yes?
My beloved brother, blessings to you. What's up?
Blessings to you, blessings.
I give thanks. Matt, religion is playing a very subtle, I wanted to add another word to it, very like a slight but effective role, because the deafening silence from religion, Matt, they say ipani sutiwe, ipani vole. If it hasn't got those who that are supporting you, Matt, if you haven't got those who that are tolerating you, you could not be that effective in your criminal activities. So they say, for evil to persist or prevail is for good people to remain silent, Matt. You cannot have good people fighting evil, Matt. Not in prayer, not saying you're calling on God and privately, openly, publicly, fighting evil, calling evil out. That is what it is to fight evil. It's not to say you go in your private room and you're there praying, because for it to be effective, faith without works is dead. You have to be fighting physically, spiritually, morally, psychologically, and all the other leads, exempting one lead. But Matt, I was there, I engaged there doing my work. And then I said, damn, 22 minutes past 1, whoa, boy, Matt, on all the time I didn't even bother with the radio. But I heard certain things pertaining to all what we are endowed with, Matt. We are blessed with water, but we importing water, and all the different things. Is she a Dominican, Matt?
No, I think it's some group of persons who come to Dominica and did some work privately on the ground.
Imagine, Matt. I mean, is the opposition alone? The opposition alone, I've heard articulated things that precisely, Matt, based on all what they know we are blessed with, and the great minds we have or had in the opposition, Matt. All right? And they have articulated that. So but the last one you played there, Matt, it runs in parallel with what is happening in Dominica. Didn't they just pass and pick up Donny Lugano in Montdaniel, Matt?
Yep.
They pass and pick up Bosso, they pass and pick up Thompson Fontaine, they pick up they are picking up people and go with them. Brian Linton, they pick up that one and pick up. So that's what it is, Matt. You destroy what's his name? That brother there in the foreign country, he's from Western Marigot. That elder man that used to call us often, these days he do not call us often. Lee Robinson.
Mm-hmm.
For years, Lee Robinson is telling the people of Dominica how scary and them is systematically dismantling every authority within the structure of government. And I've said that already, Matt. It's one man that is the government of Dominica. So you'll have to say the prime government. Not the prime minister, not the government. It's the prime government, which is one man. So all what the lady is talking about, look at how they send Salisbury about sending the Marines where they are not needed, sending that letter. I mean, when you have people going to Salisbury, how many people we hear that are getting shot in Salisbury? So you to send soldiers and foreign soldiers, mercenaries, come in and tear gas of people and shoot at people, brutalize the people, charge, arrest the people. So, Matt, what is happening in Dominica? I hear you say, I hope, and I think that's the second time you're saying that, Matt, just to conclude there, you hope somebody can facilitate the whole meeting between me and Skerritt. I've met Skerritt at his office, Matt, and I watch him Skerritt in his two cocos there. Matt, you know why he's two cocos there, no?
I do. It is in the middle of his eyes.
His two eyeballs, for those who don't know. And Skerritt cannot stare me for 2 free seconds. His damn eyes is all over the place. I'm watching him straight in his face like that. He goes showing me Malik on his wall. He was not married yet. I'm telling me I have you. Yeah, you have a son. I telling him about their stuff and those other bourgeoisies, I don't call him their name, that take over Dominica. I say that's not a country where you say all shall eat and thing. And I get trying to you man tell me forget about those things. They just tell me what you want, like I come to him for nothing. You just selling for me for you. It's too crazy. Then first they brought me to you. But you think I'm some kind of prostitute? Now you could just come and tell Luca Licamoni and I'll just roll over and play. So Matt, I'm just saying what you just highlighted there, Matt. If it's foreigners that can put that together, Matt, you could see how scared Dominicans are. You hear them moaning and groaning and whispering and gossiping, complaining secretly. They dare not to put something that's substantive in place to show the flaws, the failures of this criminal enterprise, my beloved brother. Thanks for your time, Mr. Belty.
Thank you.
Too many Dominicans are overly consumed with politics and religion, while the real issues, such as economic growth, industrial development, job creation, and self-sufficiency, are being neglected. Shash, over-involvement in politics and religion. Dominicans are passionate people, but sometimes that passion is misdirected. Political allegiance in Dominica often looks like a football match, red versus blue, rather than a collective effort to build the nation. People are so deeply entrenched in political parties that they sometimes lose sight of the bigger picture, national development. Instead of holding leaders accountable and demanding better policies and performance, many blindly support whichever party they belong to. This has created a culture of division, blame, and inaction. Religion, too, plays a major role in Dominican society. While faith and spirituality are important to many, religion in Dominica often distracts from real-world issues. Some people are so wrapped up in church life and religious beliefs that they withdraw from civic duty, economic engagement, and critical thinking. When you have a society that's overly focused on praying for solutions rather than working to build them, development suffers. Dominica doesn't need more political debates or more religious denominations. It needs solutions.
All right, just some of the views expressed there in this documentary. Let's listen to a voice note here.
Matt, good afternoon to you, and good afternoon to the citizens of Dominica. what you just played, Matt, I listened to this on MSNBC, and I was like, wow. So if that's the case, Kerry is way ahead of Trump in this situation, because this is what has happened in Dominica or is going on in Dominica right now. You know, I listened to this one of the callers, I think he's from the Wesley area. And people keep saying that Skerrit is not a good leader, or he can't govern the country, and he has failed as a leader, as a prime minister. No, that wasn't his job in the first place, to govern Dominica or to lead Dominicans. Where Dominica is right now, that is exactly where Skerrit wants Dominica to be, because that's how he maintains power. He hasn't failed as a leader, or he's not leading. He is not there to lead. He comes in the name of leadership. He comes in the name of, I'm the prime minister. He is saying, I have a government, and and pretending there's some kind of governance going on, but there's not. Everything is an appearance of, starting from the elections, to show and to tell other countries and other governments that we are having elections, is to give the appearance of having an election. But then we know what happens to the elections at the end of the day. This guy, first of all, he divided the country and conquered. And now, what happened? They went around arresting people, the last demonstration or whatever gathering that the opposition had in Dominica. What happened? They went and arrested people like crazy. That's to keep you quiet. That's to get you scared. You guys need to go to LA to learn a few things or two. I'm just saying, Matt, the thing is, this is an people. It is sad to see it as a Dominican, but your country, my country, is no longer in a democracy. So things are not going to be done as you want it to. And he is succeeding at doing that. He never wanted to be the prime minister who is going to govern Dominica to protect, to provide, and to protect the citizens of Dominica. That's not his job. That's not what he's there for. He's there to maintain power and to accumulate wealth. I'm just saying, Matt, this afternoon. Have a great day, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.
We are expecting the double Social Security. In a few minutes, so stick around. There's a lot to talk about. I see Mr. 18 and company stepping in. Let's do this and we'll come back.
Looking for power and performance in your cleaning game? Say hello to Sapolio, the world-class brand trusted by homes across the globe. Sapolio Chloro Bleach kills 99.9% of viruses and bacteria. Whether it's your bathroom, kitchen, or laundry, Sapolio Chloro gets the job done. And for laundry, try Sapolio Ultra Laundry Detergents with floral, citrus, and gentle baby formulas. Deep cleaning, fresh scent, tough on stains in sizes from 450 grams to 4 kg. Stains won't stand a chance against a polio color stain remover 3-in-1. It removes stains, delivers high performance, and comes at a great price. Available in 550 ml, 940 ml, and 1800 ml. Want something lemony fresh? Grab Sapolio liquid detergent, light, powerful, and perfectly sized at 200 ml. Don't forget to disinfect the smart way with Sapolio disinfectant. Kills 99.9% of germs and comes in pine, lavender, baby, lime, apple, and floral scents. Available from 800 ml to 4.9 liters. Sapolio, clean power, fresh life. Available now at ISA Trading Limited, your favorite shopping location here in Dominica. When you think clean, think Sapolio, think ISA Trading Limited. We are making a difference for you.
If you know quality, then you must know the manufacturers of Dominica's finest rums. Belfast Estate Limited. Over 80 years leading the industry with exceptional standards and formidable customer service. We present the manufacturers of BB Rum, Soca Rum, Rum, Cask Rum, and the signature Belfast Estate Rum Punch. With island-wide distribution daily, Belfast Estate Limited has cemented its mark as the distributor of choice for products like Eldorado range of rums and creams, Kubali Bear, Corona Bear, Guinness, Root Boy Drink, and of course, Sunblast Juices, Toffers Snacks, Vitamalt, and Pine Hill Juices. Call the office at 440-7032 or visit the distribution outlet at Jimmy Dominica. Follow on Facebook or Instagram at Belfast Estate. Belfast Estate Limited, your leading manufacturer and distributor of rums in Dominica.
All you, I just me goal winning Roseau again. Same place outside Flossie's. I tried to dock in, but you had time see me. Where? Story start again. Million, lot of my power we got, huh? Saga fella. I said the same thing you doing, shopping at Flossie's. And you don't have to tell me the same thing you tell me last time because I busy. It's to hear him way. You reckon? About my pocket, boy. I won't tell you that I save money in food and drinks when I buy quantity. I save more. Oh, shucks, man. Well, when you're still telling me, I know already. Tu paga respect him, eh? But it can him up here to Palais. I will tell all my friends from London, US and Dominica to come to Flossie's. Right next to the Rosa Market. Open Sunday to Saturday. Floss debut toujours. I see Golo in shopping for farming supplies. So I ask him, what are you doing inside Bloombox? You have a farm? He tell me, Gus, how the hell sort? I've been married 37 years. Look at my money farm. He say, no, not woman. Like land for farming crops. And then he understand. Bloombox is the most affordable on island. Knapsacks starting at only $57.71. Elsewhere, it's $300 plus. Cutlass seeds, seeding trays, nursery pots, sales of potting mix, all at way better prices than anywhere else. Fertilizers, 3-in-1 multi-tool, and so much more. Located on Federation Drive, Goodwill. Second property on the right after the Valley Link Road and on the corner of Drury Lane and Hanover Street in Rosal. Bloombox. Let's bloom together.
Over $500,000 could be yours. Play Super 6 and win. Bigger jackpots, more chances to win. We present to you the winning numbers for Dominica National Lottery's morning draw of Wednesday, 9th July 2025. The daily 3 morning draw winning numbers are 1, 3, and 6. The multi-X ball chosen was FB and there were 11 winners. The big 4 with multi-X morning draw winning numbers are 9, 2, 6, and 6. The multi-X ball chosen was 2X and the prize payout was $2,400. The big 2 with multi-X morning draw winning numbers are 5 and 5. The multi-X ball selected was 2X. The next morning draw is on Thursday, 10th July 2025. And of course, remember, with Dominica National Lottery, that everything is possible.
All right, Dominica, we're here with the Dominica Social Security. You know, anytime they're in the place, you know you have any questions. But today we are focusing on student loans, especially those of you thinking of pursuing higher education. It's around that time. And the loans are available, and we'll hear a little more about it. Mr. 18 and company is here in the house to talk about it from the Dominica Social Security. So let me say good afternoon to Mr. 18. How are you doing, sir?
Good afternoon, Matt, and good afternoon to your listeners.
Good to have you back.
It could be worse, I like to say. I always maintain.
It could be worse.
It could be worse.
Happy to have you all the same.
Always a pleasure to be here.
All right. So we're here talking about Dominica.
And I need to introduce my colleague.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Mrs. Dinara Daniel Bully, who is
Bully
our...
Daniel.
Bully Daniel,
Yeah.
sorry.
Are you the
Who is
sister
our...
of Miss Bully? A family?
I cannot comment on the Bully relatives. Really.
No? Okay. All right.
This is our research and investment officer at Social Security.
All right. So congratulations and welcome.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you, listeners of Q95.
Okay. So what's your responsibility?
My responsibility is basically investments.
Okay.
The loans come under
investment.
that area.
Uh-huh.
So if you want to apply for a loan, you can contact me. I'm the person you will talk to.
Okay, directly. So Mr. ATN, tell us what's going on there as it relates to Dominica Social Security and student loan facility.
Okay, so we are often described as the largest mobilizer of domestic savings in Dominica. So we have a responsibility to impact the economy of Dominica, and our main mandate is to provide income protection to contributors when they are not able to earn or to access their income because of certain things that can happen to them. So in order for us to be able to do this well and well into the future, which is something that we expect it to do indefinitely, we must, as of necessity, invest funds because the contributions that we collect on a month-to-month basis is not sufficient to sustain the system.
Okay.
So we must make investments. So the student loan program is one avenue where we can both impact the human resource base of the country, but also earn some returns on the amount that we unlend, so that it can come back to the fund to get the fund going. So from 2014, the board allocated a certain portion of money for unlending for study purposes for persons who wish to pursue tertiary level education at the state college, at UV, online, regionally, internationally, wherever. But prior to that, in the early 1990s, we had another program where we unlent monies through the National Bank of Dominica for persons to pursue studies overseas. So what we're trying to do, in effect, is to impact the human resource base, make people more marketable. They can come back after attaining their degrees, their qualifications, get a job, and become contributors to the system themselves to continue to ensure the sustainability of the system.
What makes you qualify? How can you qualify to get a loan to go study?
Okay, the program is available to contributors and or children of contributors. So if you've started working already and you start making your contributions, you can apply in your own name on your own behalf. If you've been working and you can sustain, you can pursue studies either locally, regionally, internationally, and or online. So you might be a working person in Dominica and you want to pursue an online program. You can apply for the loan to finance your studies, pay for everything, and then you studying here, you are still working. As you're working and studying, you're paying your loan as you go along. For those who have to go on campus, somebody has to undertake to service the interest payments while the person is studying so that the person doesn't have to get charged interest on interest. Because if you don't service the interest payments while you're studying, interest starts accruing as soon as we disburse the monies. So if you do not service the interest payments while you're studying, when you finish study, you're going to be paying
double?
Well, not double, but we will add the interest accrued on the disbursed amount to the loan. So the loan amount will increase by the amount of the interest, and then it will accrue interest going forward. So it's better for you to service the interest payments as you go along so that the principal doesn't increase, it remains the same. And then when you finish studying, you start servicing the loan, principal and interest payments. Every month you make a payment, a portion will go to principal, a portion will go to interest. And the interest is on the reducing balance. As the balance reduces, the amount of the interest reduces with that as well.
Ms. Bully, how big is that portfolio? Since you've been giving loans, I think he just indicated that you started to in 2014, I think it is.
Yes.
That one, yes.
So far, I have seen approximately 100 loans approved.
Yeah?
Yes.
Is that easy? Would you say it's easy or?
Yes.
I would say so.
Once when you call, first of all, they make the inquiry and you tell them everything that they require to apply. And once they get the necessary documents, in a matter of a week, 2 weeks at most. No processing fee. The interest rate is the best on island.
Yeah.
And we
Is
offer
it competitive? Yes, you said the best.
Yes.
the best. Yes.
If not the lowest, among the
lowest. The last time we checked, it was the lowest.
Yes.
Is there a cap in terms of how much you can get?
Not quite. I believe it depends on the field of study,
right,
and the ability of the family to service the loan.
Mm-hmm.
Some courses of study are more costly than others. An engineering program or a medical program, for example, might be more costly than a simpler management program.
Mm-hmm.
So for you to determine how much you can access, it depends on the program of study, how much it costs, as well as the ability to meet the repayments.
Are there certain areas that you target, or that determination is left on the student?
In terms of what areas of study we finance,
Mm-hmm.
we are guided by the national priority list of areas. But if a person decides they want to pursue a particular course of study because that is what their interest is, once the school is accredited, once they come with all the required documents, we will finance their studies for them, whether it is part of the national priority list or not. But we can be guided by the national priority list at a particular point in time.
Are you satisfied, sir, that this has been going very well, and because you're continuing to encourage it?
Well, yes. We wish more people will take it up, but I suppose there are different agencies that offer student loans, so people have choices, people have options. But some of them may not come to us because they're not aware that it's available. That's why we are using the opportunity of these programs in the season of graduation and whatever to heighten people's awareness of the existence of that facility at Social Security, that they can, in fact, consider us as one of the places where they can come and get the financing. And our repayment period, I believe, is the longest. We give a maximum of 15 years.
15 years?
15 years, yes. To repay. Again, it depends on how much you borrow.
Right.
If you borrow just $15,000, you can't expect to pay back in 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
But if you take $150,000, $200,000, you have 15 years.
So up to 15 years.
Up to 15 years.
Yeah. Very interesting.
Yeah.
15 years to complete a student loan.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's take a few phone calls. I'm sure there are people who want to ask questions, and the numbers are 449-3095, 449-3096, 449-3097, 616-4257. Are you there, caller?
Yes, I'm here. Good afternoon to you, Matt, and good afternoon to your guest in studio. I recognize the voice of my loving family. Etienne, good afternoon to you. And good afternoon to Mrs. Jajak. I know she's not in studio, but this is a wonderful lady, and I just want to commend them for the great job that they have been doing at Social Security. I pray God's blessing for good health, for long life, for peace, joy, and harmony, and family continue to the task that is placed before you. Mrs. Jaja, continue the task that is placed before you. I know you all are doing it with honor and not for honor. So long live to you all. God's blessing. And I love you all, and keep up the good job.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you. No, so you just a real scenario.
Mm-hmm.
So you go study and you come back, and the employment situation is the same. So you can't get a job to service that loan. Now, how do you, if you want to manage through that crisis?
Okay, so if you're traveling to study, you will need a guarantor who is living and working in Dominica, and they'll be paying the interest while you study. But also your guarantor has to show they have the capacity to meet the full loan installment. So in the meantime, the borrower, they haven't gotten a job. That's where your guarantor comes in until you get a job and you can pay on your own.
So in the meantime, he pays the interest.
Well,
you know, the interest payments while you're studying, and within 3 months, I believe.
Yeah, 90 days.
Within 3 months of graduating, completing your studies, it's expected that you will have come back and, well, whether you come back or not, that you secured a job and you can start servicing the full loan at that time. And if you have not gotten a job yourself, she's saying that the guarantor, when we do the analysis, the guarantor has to be able to afford the full installment if there is a need for them to do that, because the borrower themselves cannot as yet begin paying the loan. So when we do the analysis, all of that is taken right then.
On the telephone, hello, talk to me.
Hello, Matt, and to Mr. Etienne and the other participants
Yes,
on the panel.
Miss Bully, yes. Go ahead.
I'm concerned as a pensioner. I'm concerned about my pension and all our pensions. And I was wondering, why would you wish to take the risk, Mr. Etienne? Why don't you on-lend to the aid bank and national bank, let's say at 2%, a few $1 million for that very same arrangement, and let the banks take the risk? Why would you want to have 100 students on the system at Social Security? Just a thought that passed my mind. I was wondering, and then maybe why didn't you invest in building low-income housing at Warner on your land that you already have, and sell that as mortgages through the banks again to the on-lenders, Just some thoughts passing through my mind. I'm concerned about future risk. You know how it is, because the banks have some high percentage of risk in their portfolio that we must be aware of. Surely. Take care, guys.
Very interesting question there.
Okay, cool. As I alluded to at the beginning of my opening remarks, I said prior to this particular facility that we are now promoting, which was established in 2014, in the early 1990s, we had a program that we were running through the National Bank of Dominica. And the bulk of the work was still left for us to do, to the extent that whereas some of those loans should have been cleared a long time ago, there are still a few that we're still trying to recover or realize the full value of the amount that were borrowed, that was unlent to those persons. So you're saying to make the money available to the other institutions at low interest rates, but our monies that we have for investment, we earn a certain level of interest on it at our bank. We cannot lend money at less than that. If we're going to lend money for less than that, best we keep it where it is, awaiting investments where we can get that or better. We will not probably for a while pursue mortgages, because we're not a bank, a commercial bank with all the mechanisms in place to monitor and all of those things. But the student loan it doesn't pose so much of a challenge for us. If I may say so myself, we have very little default as of now. Very little default, yes.
You may have someone miss a payment or two, but they usually
Generally,
you catch up and forget.
Especially if you have a guarantor that puts the interest.
Correct.
All right, 449-3095, 449-3096, 4493. So persons' monies are not in trouble, quote unquote. This is what I'm getting from Peter. They're those who are pensioned.
But they're on pension are okay because they're enjoying their pension already. Those that have to come in the future are the ones that need to have some concern, because there are so many things that are not going right for the system. We have fewer people being born, we have an aging population, we haven't got population growth and those kind of things. The concern is more for future pensioners, or we ourselves, our children, our grandchildren, if we don't make certain changes. So the pensioners haven't got a problem. The current pool of pensioners, they're enjoying very favorable benefits.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to continue to ensure that we're able to do this for the long haul.
Is there a cap in terms of the age you lend the money to?
Age? The borrowers?
Bracket meant the borrowers, yes.
No, not really. No, I mean,
because you might be 60 or 65,
yes,
and you want to educate yourself.
Yes, once you have the means to be able to service the loan, you can get a loan to do whatever program you might want to do, a computer program late in your years because you want to be up to date with the technology, and you need finances, and you can afford to service that loan. You can get it.
Is that easy? Like 1, 2, 3.
Yes.
All right, Dominica, we have the Dominica Social Security. If you need to ask any questions about the students' facility, student Social Security, student loan, feel free to give us a call. I know there are a lot of parents out there who wants to send their children to school, and maybe you can afford it. And according to what I'm hearing, that they're giving the lowest interest in terms of these packages. So please take advantage of this loan facility, student facility at the Dominica Social Security. We're going to come back, Dominica, after a break and continue to talk about the student loan facility and the Dominica Social Security. Stick around.
If you know quality, then you must know the manufacturers of Dominica's finest rums. Belfast Estate Limited, over 80 years leading the industry with exceptional standards and customer service. We present the manufacturers of BB Rum, Soca Rum, Red Cap Rum, Cask Rum, and the signature Belfast Estate Rum Punch. With island-wide distribution daily, Belfast Estate Limited has cemented its mark as the distributor of choice for products like Eldorado range of rums and creams, Kubali Bear, Corona Bear, Guinness, Root Boy Drink, and of course, Sunblast Juices, Toffee Snacks, Vitamalt, and Pine Hill Juices. Call the office at 440-7032 or visit the distribution outlet at Jimmy Dominica. Follow on Facebook or Instagram at Belfast Estate. Belfast Estate Limited, your leading manufacturer and distributor of rums in Dominica.
Are you looking to take the next step on your developmental path? Here is a marvelous opportunity to make your dreams of higher education a reality with a student loan from the Dominica Social Security. Access loans of any amount based on your affordability for study at accredited institutions located anywhere. Study online, locally, regionally, or internationally. Low interest rates, agreeable repayment terms, no processing fees. Call them today at 255-8326 or 255-8327. You can also email studentloan@dss.tm for more info. Reach the stratosphere. Let the stars be your limit with a student loan from the Dominica Social Security. Terms and conditions apply.
Over $500,000 could be yours. Play Super 6 and win. Bigger jackpots, more chances to win.
All you, I just meet goal winning Roseau again. Same place outside Flossie's. I tried to dock in, but you had time see me. Well, story start again. Million, lot of my father we got, huh? Salka fella, I said the same thing you doing, shopping at Flossie's. And you don't have to tell me the same thing you tell me last time because I busy. Is to hear him way. You reckon? About my pocket, boy. I won't tell you that I save money in food and drinks when I buy quantity. I save more. Oh, shucks, man. Well, when you're still telling me, I know already. Tu paga respecte moi. But it can even pay for palais. I will tell all my friends from London, US and Dominica to come to Floss's. Right next to the Rosa Market. Open Sunday to Saturday. Floss's can't do it to you.
Are you looking to take the next step on your developmental path? Here is a marvelous opportunity to make your dreams of higher education a reality with a student loan from the Dominica Social Security. Access loans of any amount based on your affordability for study at accredited institutions located anywhere. Study online, locally, regionally, or internationally. Low interest rate, agreeable repayment terms, no processing fees. Call them today at 255-8326 or 255-8327. You can also email studentloan@dss.tm for more info. Reach the stratosphere. Let the stars be your limit with a student loan from the Dominica Social Security. Terms and conditions apply.
We present to you the winning numbers for Dominica National Lottery's morning draw of Wednesday, 9th July 2025. The daily 3 morning draw winning numbers are 1, 3, and 6. The multi-X ball chosen was FP and there were 11 winners. The big 4 with multi-X morning draw winning numbers are 9, 2, 6, and 6. The multi-X ball chosen was 2X and the prize payout was $2,400. A pick 2 with multi-X morning draw winning numbers are 5 and 5. The multi-X ball selected was 2X. The next morning draw is on Thursday, 10th July 2025. And of course, remember, with Dominica National Lottery, that everything is possible.
I see Golo in shopping for farming supplies. So I ask him, what are you doing inside Bloombox? You have a farm? He tell me, that's how it has sort. I've been married 37 years. Come at my money farm. They say, no, not woman, like land for farming crops. And then you understand, Bloombox is the most affordable on island. Knapsacks starting at only $57.71. Elsewhere, it's $300 plus. Cutlass seeds, seeding trays, nursery pots, sales of potting mix, all at way better prices than anywhere else. Fertilizers, 3-in-1 multi-tool, and so much more. Located on Federation Drive, Goodwill. Second property on the right after the Valley Link Road and on the corner of Drury Lane and Hanover Street in Rosal. Bloombox. Let's bloom together.
Are you looking to take the next step on your developmental path? Here is a marvelous opportunity to make your dreams of higher education a reality with a student loan from the Dominica Social Security. Access loans of any amount based on your affordability for study at accredited institutions located anywhere. Study online, locally, regionally, or internationally. Low interest rates, agreeable repayment terms, no processing fees. Call them today at 255-8326 or 255-8327. You can also email studentloan@tss.tm for more info. Reach the stratosphere. Let the stars be your limit with a student loan from the Dominica Social Security. Terms and conditions apply.
All right, Dominica, 449-309-596 and 97. Let's
Terms and conditions apply. We need to speak about that. We haven't spoken about that.
So what are the terms and conditions there?
So you will need to provide your acceptance letter from the school. If you're already at school, some letter or some sort that will say you're already in attendance. We need to have an idea of how much the program will cost. So we'll need an estimate or an invoice. The school must be accredited, so we need proof of that as well. So you will need a letter of accreditation from Ministry of Education. You will need a guarantor. So you will need your job letter and your 2 last salary slip. Now you may be working and studying, so you can be. There are cases where you can be your own guarantor. So let's say your loan is 20,000 and below. We have the condition where you can use 2 guarantors as your security.
Okay.
So if you're working and studying, you can be the first person and you'll just need one other person. So we need the job letter and the salary slip for these 1 or 2 persons.
Okay.
If you're among above 20,000, where you will need a certificate of title and 1 guarantor, well, the job letter and the salary slips. We need photo IDs for all people. The borrower will need to provide a recent police record, 2 character references. That's for the borrower, and it must be from someone not related to you. A medical report from a doctor.
You mean the guarantor should not be related to you?
No.
The person who is giving you the reference, the character reference.
Right. Character reference. The guarantor will also have to do credit reports. So, but that is like after you submit the preliminary documents like the acceptance letter and all of
stick
that.
a pin in. Someone is on the telephone. Hello, yes?
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Etienne, the evidence is right there before you, you know. We have Grambling University, we have Midwestern, we have FIU. You know a high percentage of our students, 300 students just graduated out of college last week. And so the students of years gone by, the Ministry of Education sent them to university on the guarantee straight from the state, from the Ministry of Education. Why? And put themselves in an embarrassing situation. We saw the evidence in the public where those universities embarrassed our students and threatened to take them out of the next semester. And why didn't those students sent to Social Security, to the National Bank, to Aid Bank, and that they would pay those universities in cash upfront semester by semester? So why do we have almost 500 students out there who are owing universities. The evidence was there in the public. Letters from the universities were published. So that's a perfect situation now. Mr. Etienne is to tell the Ministry of Education, you want to give the students financial aid, scholarships, whatever, send them down to the Social Security or National Bank or Aid Bank and pay the school by semester as it goes along. And you, the state, guarantees financial aid to the repayments for the students on behalf of the students.
So your point is, Peter, the government should take the loans from Social Security to send the students there to study overseas. That's your point?
Send them down to Social Security to take the loans, but they cannot take the loans, so the state have to be the guarantor. They don't have guarantors. They cannot take the loans. We have almost 300 and more students out there in the world, out there in the U.S., or in semesters, or in universities. And we must stop that embarrassment to the country.
So you're asking the Dominica Social Security to take on that responsibility?
To give the loan to
the money.
And the guarantor will be the Ministry of Education for the financial aid for those students, to assist those students to go to universities.
But hold on, Peter. Don't you think that what you're asking for may be a little troubling? In other words, if government can continue to pay the Social Security, what happens to your pension then? Yeah.
So now government has not been able to pay those universities.
So you expect government now to pay DSS? I mean, that is very troubling. It's even worse.
Yeah.
A lot of people.
I think he may be trying to say that maybe the relatives of the students who are going to study need to take some responsibility. Yes, they need assistance, but they need to take some responsibility. Every state cannot give you everything for free. So if you borrow some money, I've heard stories that sometimes they get an opening to go to school, and to pay the airplane ticket, they have to defer the thing for next year because nobody wants to meet the cost of that. You get in partial funding for a child to go and do a program at a university, and you can't even meet the cost of a ticket. You waiting for somebody to give you a ticket, or you have to defer the thing.
Are you waiting for government to give you?
Well, government, invariably they go to government. Government might be undertaking to pay this school, but you just have to pay something.
But
we, as a people, we need to take responsibility for ourselves and be prepared to do something. Yes, we can look for help, but we must depend on somebody to do everything for us.
I'm actually saying that even threatens the program even more, because if government cannot pay, what happens? That is the
I don't want to go down that. But I see the point he's making, because he's saying that you send them away, you make the commitment to the institution, you have difficulty paying them. If they are taking the money, if they borrow the money and you guarantee the borrowing, you won't have the difficulty and the embarrassment of the students on the other side. It would be embarrassment to stay in Dominica. But it's not Social Security that should be put in that position, if I may say so.
That's my point.
If I may say, it's not Social Security that should be put in that position.
Everybody's money is going to be in trouble,
right? Because our mandate transcends administrations, because this government has a particular stance, and they will not always be in office. What they are able to do, what they are doing now, another government may not be able to do it. So, but our mandate transcends that, so we have to be very careful how it is we use Social Security funds.
And I agree with you. But you're making a couple of points there before we interrupted you there.
Okay, so I'm continuing with the requirements and the documents you need to submit. So earlier I spoke about the loan amount. If it exceeds 20,000 EC, you will need to provide a certificate of title that is free. It means that it must not be secure in another loan, because you will need to give it to us so we can caveat it.
Okay.
For that title, you will need a recent valuation from a registered surveyor. You will need to enroll in our group life insurance plan. That is an added form of security. In the event something happens to the borrower.
Who's paying the insurance?
That will be added to the loan amount.
Okay.
Right. So
it's a very small premium.
It's very small. I think it's about 33 cents on every 1,000 somewhere here. So it's very small. And that is added to the installment. You'll also need to sign 3 blank salary orders. So that is another form of added security.
Okay.
But that one we keep it on file in case we need to
activate it.
Right.
Okay.
Our loans cover tuition, accommodation expenses, so rent, utilities, if you need money for that, books and other school related. So you may need a laptop, or you may need travel costs to attend school. That can be part of the loan.
All right.
And the value of the security, we need it to be 1 1/5 times the value of the loan, 1.2 times the value of the loan.
1.2.
1.2,
Yes.
1 1/5 times. Yes.
Okay.
Because for you pledge a certificate of title as security with a building on it, and we have difficulty collecting money from you down the road, and we have to sell the property for us to recover our monies. In the event of a forced sale, where you take the best you can get. If the security is just the value of the loan, and you have to sell the property in a forced sale situation, you might not get the full value. So if it is 1.2 times the value of the loan, chances are once you make allowance for the time it will take and the fact that you have to settle for what you can get, you might still be able to recover the amount of the loan. So we require the security to be 1 1/5 times the value of the loan that you're taking.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add? Not really?
Not really.
All right. So again, we have a few more minutes. And if you want to find out more about this Social Security loans, now is the time. In some universities, though, there's some prerequisites. You need to have like 5 CXCs, 5 GCs. Are you looking for those requirements?
Well, no. Once the person has gotten acceptance from the school,
yes.
it means the school have taken that into account. They made the
Right.
matriculation requirements, and so they've offered them enrollment, and then they need the financing.
All right, let's take a phone call. Are you the caller? Yes.
Yes, the caller is there. Matt, I want to tell my boss man good afternoon. Hello? Matt,
Yes. Hello. Talk to who's your boss man?
he's sitting there, the money man.
The money man? I don't know that I'm money man. Good afternoon, caller. How are you?
The caller is good.
All right, good to know.
But I'm not seeing my increase now. I have to do like Chile and just start on it to see the increase.
You're not seeing your increase? Which increase?
The last increase all you give there.
Uh-huh.
So you forget my voice, then they change.
I don't forget your voice, but it was such a big increase. I seen it everywhere. And I seen it on my expenses as well.
Oh my God.
That was the biggest increase you've enjoyed in a while.
It was big, Papa.
Huh?
I mean, it was big.
Yes, it has been the biggest for a while.
I will come for a loan to go and study at my age. I'll let Chile.
As I said, once you can afford it, I have no problem giving that to you. Keep the faith.
Keep the faith. All right.
Okay.
Okay, boss. Okay, boss man. So now is the time. Now is the time to take advantage of this loans being offered by the Dominica Social Security. And Mr. 18 has indicated there's been little problems as it relates to this loan.
By default, no. Problem of default, little problem, yes. Mm-hmm.
So you're confident this program will work?
Yes, it is working. It is working. It is working. Because the more uptake we can have, the better for the program, because it's like a revolving fund. As you service it goes back and we continue to unlend. So over time it can grow and more people can benefit from the program.
So parents, please take advantage of the loans being offered by the Dominica Social Security for students. But these days we've been hearing a lot about studying in the United States. You guys have any concerns about that?
Do you see when people choose where they want to study for various reasons?
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you from the first program that we administered in the early 1990s, a lot of the students who took those loans studied in the US and they didn't come back. That created a problem for us in terms of getting those loans repaid. So we still have a few of them on record, on the books. We're still trying to recover.
Mhm.
Most of them were paid off, but and those are people who studied in the US and did not come back. But even if you don't come back, it doesn't mean your responsibility goes away. You should still make the arrangement to service children from overseas, and recognize that is a responsibility. You have to do that.
I know for government, when you studied before, you'd have created a bond, so you must come back to serve.
Well, that's where you get a scholarship. But if you take a loan is an amount you borrow with the intention of paying back with interest on it. But they turn their backs and they don't service the loan, and the loan remains unpaid. So they need to recognize that they have that responsibility behind, that they need to continue to service the loan until they pay it off. Now they can refinance the loan if taking too much time has passed on it. Just take a loan where you are, pay that off, and then you service the loan where you are. But you have that responsibility behind that, assisted you in, acquiring the qualifications that you want, that you now have, that make you more marketable, and you turn your back on your responsibility. So those who study in the US, it's not a problem per se. It's not with that dictating where they study. They make their choice. When they get acceptance, they come to get the financing. But the important thing is, having taken the loan, you need to remember you need to service the loan to pay it off.
Take a break. We'll come right back.
Back on your developmental path, here is a marvelous opportunity to make your dreams of higher education a reality with a student loan from the Dominica Social Security. Access loans of any amount based on your affordability for study at accredited institutions located anywhere. Study online, locally, regionally, or internationally. Low interest rate, agreeable repayment terms, no processing fees. Call them today at 255-8326 or 255-8327. You can also email studentloan@dss.tm for more info. Reach the stratosphere. Let the stars be your limit with a student loan from the Dominica Social Security. Terms and conditions apply.
So the loans are available. Let's go over some of the requirements that we may need to receive that loan. Ms. Bully?
Okay, so you need to provide your acceptance letter or some sort of evidence that will show you're a student.
Mm-hmm.
An estimate or an invoice that will give us an idea how much the program will cost. Guarantor, so you'll need job letter and salary slips. If your amount exceeds 20,000, you'll need to provide a free certificate of title and a recent valuation. Police record for the applicant,
Mm-hmm.
a medical report, 2 character reference, credit reports, which you'll obtain the document to supply to the various financial institutions from our office. Standing order, blank standing order, which we'll keep on file. Enrollment in our group life insurance plan. But the last 2 I call is after approval.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Our loan cover tuition, living and accommodation expenses, school books and related supplies such as a computer or a travel ticket to actually go up to study. You can include that in your amount as well.
So one ticket to go, one ticket to come back? Is that what it is?
Well, I guess you can include,
because I mean, when students go, they want to.
You want them to come back.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Yeah, but sometimes during the say 3 or 4 years course, you don't want them to stay all the time. Can that be facilitated?
Well, no. If you're going to study, you need money to get there, and when you finish, you need money to come back.
Right.
If you need to come in between, that is something that you have to work out while you're there with whoever, your family or whatever. Another important point to note is that when you're applying, you must not apply for part of the money. You need to apply for the full cost. You may not utilize the full amount.
Segmentized,
No, it will
segments.
It is
you get the whole cost.
It is disbursed by installments on a semester basis, probably. But you need to apply for the full cost of the program because we cannot get you started and we can't get you to complete. Now, if you start already, we can help you to complete, but we cannot get you started and not take you to completion because our money is in jeopardy. So some people want to tell you, well, I only take in 20,000 because that's the 20,000 you need 2 guarantors. But your program costs $60,000. Where the other 40,000 coming from? Well, I hoping to get a scholarship, what. If until you have the scholarship, you apply for the full 60, and if you get a scholarship, you only use 20, but you must apply for the full amount.
Okay.
Yeah? Because we do not want to get you started and can't get you to complete.
Somebody's on the telephone. We don't have too much time though. Hello, yes? Caller. This person is calling from the overseas line, but we can't connect. So try another number. Try 1767 449 3095 or 449 3096 or 449 3097 616 4257 because apparently the overseas line is not working. So please, or if you want, you can call me on my cell phone and I'll put you on 225 6417. Okay, so if you want to connect that way, because the overseas line seems to be giving some issues, call me on 225 6417 and I will, of course, connect you to this program. So, Mr. 18, you says is trying again. I just told you hello, yes?
Yes, Matt. Good afternoon.
All right, we got it. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon to your guest, Matt.
Okay. Good afternoon.
Yeah, I want to ask your guest, Matt, if Social Security works as a team or a partnership with the government, because he said investing will bring some revenue because maybe the money they get from the workforce cannot sustain, or it's not sustainable to meet the challenges they have. And what comes to mind, Matt, and it really troubles me, is that you have the government, for example, I heard a caller say building 5 schools, and all the jobs are Muslim, 95% of the jobs are foreigners. Now, is Social Security working with government as a partner, or they collaborating with them in some way? I mean, they should be able to tell the government, look, you have to employ our people first. I don't know if they have the independence to do that, but it's very troubling to me, Matt, because it's not that it only jeopardize Social Security, but it's mashing up our economy. So I would just like to ask him again if they work as a team, which I hope or I think they should, to advise the government on all these jobs in the airport and all these buildings, the schools, the health center. I mean, there's a lot of jobs still, and Dominicans are not given first priority. Now, another question I have is that I would think most of the students that take the loan and go to the U.S., it would maybe be easier, that's me thinking loud now, easier for them to pay it back. And he said some of them didn't come back and haven't paid the loan or, disregard the responsibilities. But it's a very tricky situation because some of them, when they come back, they cannot find jobs. So that's why, again, I have to stress that Dominican jobs should be given a priority for Dominicans first. And if we cannot get that for our winning, then we go outside. Anyway, I'm listening, Matt. A long time I don't talk to you.
There's a lot of food for thought.
To say that Social Security is a creature of statute established by an act of parliament that was done by government.
Mm-hmm.
Government is our principal. We have to report to government. So the policies that Social Security have to administer, the laws that we operate under, all of those things are defined by government. Government is also, according to our legislation, like if you want our guarantor of last resort, if you will, that if the system ever runs into difficulty where it doesn't have money to pay people benefits, the consolidated fund of the state has to meet those payments. So to the extent that our people are engaged in employment, and the more employment we can have in the country, the better for the system. But again, it's not just the employment by itself. The payments have to be made because you have people who are working in some industries and the deductions are being made and those payments are not reaching us. So to the extent that you have employment taking place in the economy, people are working and paying contributions, that is good for the system. It doesn't mean foreigners cannot pay contributions to Social Security. Once you engage in work for pay in Dominica, you're supposed to be paying contributions. You are supposed to be. Whether you actually do it or not is another matter. And how easy it is to get everybody that's supposed to pay is another matter. So
how challenging is
it? It is a challenge for us to get compliance to the extent we want it. For a lot of reasons, people are having financial difficulties to make their commitments on a timely basis. But we have.
Let me just ask a question. If you're a foreigner, quote unquote, you're Venezuelan, and you work in Dominica, are you entitled to pay Social Security?
Because while you are working here, what we're doing is collecting contributions to protect people against things that can happen to them while they are working. You may not get sick. You may not make it to retirement, what. But once you are working, you're exposed to risk on the job where you can suffer an accident on the job while you're at work, especially in construction. So when you pay the Social Security, you are protecting yourself against, if nothing else, the potential of getting an injury on the job. So that when you get injured, you have protection, you have income coming to you because you're paying contributions.
Mhm.
So once you are working I believe it's only diplomatic people, diplomats who are exempt from paying contributions to Social Security.
So how do we get foreigners, I want to say it, quote unquote, at this time, make it mandatory that they pay?
It is mandatory in the law. It's just enforced.
So why are we avoiding, making collections from these people?
But who say we avoid it? We're trying everything, but sometimes I don't know what arrangements these people have with whomever engage them. But we're pursuing everybody that is engaged in work for pay to ensure that they pay for their contributions. Again, it's a challenge. And even if we have we have recourse to the courts, ultimately, the process is very slow. So we pursue everybody that we know engaging people for work in Dominica to get them to pay contributions for.
You say everybody, does that include government?
Government is a good paymaster. Government paying well, yes.
Uh-huh.
But if government defaults not defaulting in general, they may miss a person or two in the process. And once we get the information right to them, they settle, they make good on those contributions. Government is a good paymaster.
Well, you see, a lot of complaints have come and say, oh, well, for example, the Chinese not paying Social Security, so what are we doing about that?
But the Chinese, okay, let me put it this way. The Chinese, when they tell you that they are not paying the Chinese in Dominica, they're paying them in their country, whatever. And this Chinese may just be a while. So I don't know if we will go and break our leg, go and break our neck to get them to pay while they're working here. If something happens to them, we're not responsible because you're not paying contributions. We don't know you. But what we strive to do at best is to ensure that all Dominicans who are working for those companies, they pay contributions for them, because at the end of the day...
So you're not bothered about Chinese?
Well, not bothered to the extent that if you don't pay, we don't know you, we don't owe you. So anything can happen to you, we don't owe you, we don't know you. But the Dominicans, we know them, and we have to make sure we protect them.
All right.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right. We're going to come back, Dominica, for closing comments. I'm going to wrap it up with the student loans from the Dominica Social Security. Yes. It's getting hot there. Just cool it down a bit there. Coming back.
The student loan from the Dominica Social Security. Access loans of any amount based on your affordability. For study at accredited institutions located anywhere. Study online, locally, regionally, or internationally. Low interest rates, agreeable repayment terms, no processing fees. Call them today at 255-8326 or 255-8327. You can also email studentloan@dss.tm for more info. Reach the stratosphere. Let the stars be your limit with a student loan from the Dominica Social Security. Terms and conditions apply.
Hello on the telephone, yes?
Not the worry, the only foreigner he can collect royalties from is me, man. The only foreigner he can call. Not that's a game. They does not pay them in Dominica. That's the level of immunity. That's the level of immunity. Don't worry, them, no, my partner. The only foreigner you have strength on, Matt, is me. Have a blessed one.
Hello, 449-309-596. Let's close up the discussion this afternoon. We're talking about Dominica Social Security, the student loan facility being offered at this time, students should take advantage. Our final comments from you, Ms. Bully, and then we'll go to Mr. Etienne and wrap it up for the afternoon.
Okay, I just want to make one comment.
Okay.
Before the last call, Mr. Etienne was speaking on securing the full loan.
Yeah.
So you cannot take 20 if you really need 150,000. But however, if you do take the 150,000, you apply for the 150,000 and you only use up, let's say, 50,000. That is what we will charge you on.
And not on the total amount.
No.
Yeah, the interest is
but we
the interest is
disburse-
accrued on what is disbursed.
Right.
Once it is disbursed.
And you disburse it every semester.
Yeah, as you go along.
Okay.
And then as you service the loan as well, as I said, you apply the interest rate to the reducing balance, so the amount of the interest reduces as you repay the loan.
And it can apply to everybody, doesn't matter your age, once you can afford it.
Okay. Somebody asked a question the other day. If you have a smart student who probably is ready to go to state college at 16, whether that would be possible.
Or
14. We said it is available to contributors or children of contributors. You become a contributor from age 16.
Okay.
Because under 16, you're supposed to be at school, and you cannot be, even if you're doing a part-time summer job during your break, you're not deemed to be an insurable person, because that would be child labor that you don't want to violate international labor laws for. So you can become a registered and contributing member of Social Security from age 16. And if at 18, you've been contributing for 2 years, you want to do a program at the college or even at UWI, you can apply for yourself, you can get the assistance, you can service the interest payments yourself, right? Because you are here working and earning, or your parents can back you up by guaranteeing the loan, or because you are 17, 18, you start a job but you have not been established, your parents can apply for you, and then they will be the guarantors, and then you access the money to go and study. So to just say that this is a facility that has been in existence for many years now, and as I said, we're in the graduation season now that people are transitioning from one level to another. If you're looking for financing to pursue your tertiary level education at the state college, at UWI, regional, international, online, you should consider us and come to us. Call Mrs. Danielle.
Yes.
Mrs. Danielle, she will give you all the requirements. Better yet, you can come and sit with her and she will walk you through the process to ensure that you can access that money. And pursue your dream and turn it into a reality.
Education.
And become a potential contributor to Social Security to help the system to continue to grow.
Again, I want to say thank you for coming.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you.
I will talk to you, and I promised you an invitation to talk about many of the things.
On your own, not me inviting myself.
No, I promised that. I said I was out of state.
Yes, okay.
Well, I'm going to invite you. I'm going to invite you.
Please.
Because there are many things to talk about.
Yes.
Stick around. See you soon.
Okay.
I'll stick to my word. All right.
All the best.
Take
All
care.
right, thank
Bye-bye.
Thanks for having us, and
Bye-bye.
thanks, listeners.
Okay.
Any amount based on your affordability or study at accredited institutions located anywhere. Study online, locally, regionally, or internationally. Low interest rate, agreeable repayment terms, no processing fees. Call them today at 255-8326 or 255-8327. You can also email studentloan@tss.tm for more info. Reach the stratosphere. Let the stars be your limit with a student loan from the Dominica Social Security. Terms and conditions apply.
Happiness is the key to success.
He celebrated his 90th birthday today, and we're going to end up with some calypsos from the Slinger Calypsos. Pyro.
Your misery, you're better off dead. For there is simply no room in this whole wide world for an uneducated boy or girl. Don't allow idle convenience to lead you astray. To earn tomorrow, you got to learn today. yes, employment, you must be intelligent. It's essential, very essential to have your credentials. But if you're block-headed like a mule, no one will employ a fool. You'll be the last one to be hired and the first one to be fired. Children go to school and learn well. Otherwise, later on in life, you will get real hell. Without an education in your head, your whole life will be a misery. You're better off dead. For there is simply no room in this whole wide world for an uneducated boy or girl. Don't follow so you will get burned. To earn, you got to learn. Illiteracy is man's greatest enemy. It's your duty, yes, your duty, stamp it out completely. Ignorance always impedes progress. Education saves you much distress. So learn as much as you can. For the nation's future's in your hand. Children stay in school and learn well. Otherwise, later on in life, you will catch red hell. Without an education in your head, your whole life will be a misery. You're better off dead. For there is simply no room in this whole wide world for an uneducated boy or girl. Don't allow to lead you astray. To learn tomorrow, you got to learn today. It's a treasure, yes, a treasure beyond any measure. Just secure it, don't ever ignore it. To fight life's battles come what may. Education lights up your way. Without it, you'll never get through. Success or failure now is up to you. Children go to school and learn well. Otherwise, later on in life, you're going to catch red hell. Without an education in your head, your whole life will be a misery. You're better off dead. For there is simply no room in this whole wide world for an uneducated boy or girl. Don't allow idle companions to lead you astray. To learn tomorrow, you got to learn today.
All right. On the occasion of his birthday today. Not this one. I'm gonna keep you company until about what? 3:30 to help celebrate his birthday today.